Alright, today we are going to be cutting rocks. I have been having a woeful of a day. I could not land any intro. G'day. Hello. G'day. Hello. G'day. Look, got some good rocks to show, and maybe the video will turn out well. We'll see. Here we go. Time to look at some rocks. I haven't cut rocks for a long time. If you're new to the channel, this is what I do with my rocks after I go rock hounding. If you're old, you know what these guys can hide. If you're someone who's been here before, you know what these rocks can hide inside them. I'm excited, let's have a look. These were all collected from 3 different rock hounding trips with the boys in Southeast Queens. Frick. All right, before you do anything with your rocks to cut them, the best thing to do is clean them. One way that I found good to clean is citric acid. It is cheap, it's not very nasty. I end up using a whole little canister of citric acid in about 5 litres of water, and I leave them soak overnight, and that cleans off any creek scum. And what it means is then you can see better into the rocks and make more informed decisions on where to cut, stuff like that. I'm gonna get up now. I'm gonna get up now. I cut them, and they turned out beautiful. Let's have a look at them and see why I made those cuts where I did. Here's...
Could you try again?
No, Siri. Come on.
Was it something I said?
You know what? I'm gonna film this and go to voiceover. Then I can talk about them at a different day when I'm feeling a bit more good. Okay, so first rock off the rank is my cousin Dan's rock. It's a chalcedony nodule, but I did not imagine it looking like this. It's got waterline, quartz crystals, and that nice little bit of white chalcedony in the middle. Now earlier this week, I didn't realize how little I knew about how these agates form. Luckily for me, I came across a video by Geo Rock Nerd. Not only is she a real life geologist, but she was able to explain in 11 minutes more than I've learnt in 3 years of rock hounding. It's awesome because every single rock has a story. There's an evolution of it, and when I've cut these rocks, I'm able to read them a little bit better than what I used to. Every rock has a story. This one here, it's got some botryoidals on top. But there's a reason why I cut it the way I did. When Benny found it in the creek, I called it. No, that's gonna be moss in there, Benny. Remember how I said I got my best bit of moss from here? So I was a little bit worried when I hit the tile saw because I wasn't sure if I was right. I shaved off the edges, leaving the botryoidal so we could see inside, and bang, it was moss. A little bit of chalcedony, but beautiful, beautiful moss agate. I gave this moss agate a whole bunch of nice flat faces because that's going to make polishing it a whole bunch easier. This next one is a Thunderegg that I found in the creek, and the cool thing about this is that there's so much rhyolite still on it. It had a nice little window so you could see inside, and I just cut it down the middle. But for there to be so much rhyolite on there and you can still see the bubbles, it means that it's come out of its host, probably not that far from where I found it. Whereas with this next old boy, you can see all of the rhyolites tumbled off of it. You can see that by the ridges, so that's been tumbling in the creek for a fair while. Not much happening on the inside, big old rhyolite pocket in there. There is some of the stuff that I was looking for, the chalcedony and whatnot.
So, because when I first found it, I saw this little window into what's happening, I decided to give it a little cut, just a little bit further to the edge. I found a Thunderegg. It's not spectacular, but there's some beautiful stuff going on in there. And it made me think why that happened. So, I've got so much more to learn, but I love it. A lot of the pieces of Thundereggs we find out here are very silicated rhyolite with chalcedony running through it. Not technically what you would imagine when you see a Thunderegg, but it's beautiful, this contrast of how the rhyolite seems to be sort of floating within the chalcedony. And sometimes you'll find that the offcut is more beautiful than the piece that you're working on. This offcut shows exactly what's going on in the stone. It's stunning. One of the creeks in particular that we were hounding with Benny had amazing bands coming out of some of the agates we found. So I thought I'd see what was inside the little ones. And it was beautiful. Not all of them, of course, but some of them had some really gorgeous things happening on the inside. Unfortunately, when it came time to open up one of the biggest nodules that I found in that same creek, it wasn't quite what I expected. Not much going on in there until you hold it up to the light. It's beautiful. I don't know what those lines are and what's going on in there. I got to learn some more, but I do know if you look closely, you can see some agate lines, little ghost agate lines, I guess you'd call them. Now this next one, well, he speaks for himself.
Okay, I've got one more. That's beautiful. What do you reckon, Paulie? You wait, it's pretty. I cut this at the tile saw because it's too big for my... Come on, brain. I cut this at the rock club because it's too big for my tile saw. All right.
These are some of the funnest rocks to cut. They're all dirty when you find them. You don't know until you get home what the outside looks like. And then when you cut inside, they're just a piece of art. I don't know really what's going on inside here. I think there's some plumes. I do think it's chalcedony in there. But it leaves a lot for curiosity. And I think curiosity is at the heart of every rockhound. I heard a term used this week called a curiosity loop, where the more you learn, the more you get curious about what's happening. So definitely go check out Geo Rock Nerd's video to learn a bit more and pick your curiosity.
We did it. We got to the end. If you did get to the end, thank you so much. Other than that, I have another way of polishing that I want to try out for people who don't have machines to polish. So I think I'm going to do that next video. Thank you for your patience.
I bid you adieu.